So my name is Kirsty Kelly. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Dublin, and I've just graduated a week ago from Jelly Studios.
Welcome to Studio Sessions, a video series for creative performers. Each week we go behind the scenes in the shoots and sit down with guests to discuss their careers, the creative industry, and share the lessons they've learned along the way.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
How's your day been today?
Really, really good. Yeah, I love doing shoots like this and everything. I just think it's so much fun, yeah.
So growing up in Dublin, is that kind of where you started your dance journey?
Yeah, so I was put into dancing like as a kid, more just for like a social aspect, and did it like as a hobby. It wasn't like very competitive or into it. It was just pure like hobby, like social. And then when I was about 11, my mum was kind of watching me, like I was watching like The Next Step and Dance Moms, and like was loving it, and she could kind of tell like, right, you really want to do this. So I joined freestyle disco dancing and kind of just went straight in with that then from when I was about 11, 12.
And what is freestyle disco dancing?
I don't really know how to explain it. It's a lot of jumps, turns, running around, high pony, very glam, very glitz, like gorgeous stoned costumes, tan, makeup, hair, chaos.
So you've not changed then?
No. That kind of explains the way I am. Like that's what I've came from. So going to college was like a total switch up from freestyle, because it's kind of not really recognised that far. It's only really Ireland and England, like the UK, that's kind of in. It's not really much further than that.
And what was it about dance that you kind of like super drawn to?
I think I was so fascinated by dancers. Like I used to watch them dancing and just think, I just want to be that. I just want to do that. And I'd watch dancers on Instagram and think, oh my God, like I want to be able to go outside and just do like a box jump off a wall and go do like an aerial down the road. But I couldn't actually do anything like that. So I just like longed to just be like that and be able to go and do that, go take class. I loved the whole like aesthetic of dancers as a whole, and just wanted to be a dancer. Like I kind of nearly didn't even know what career and I wanted to go into. I just wanted to go to dance college and be a dancer, and then that's all just came from college, like figuring that out from there on. But yeah. And
what was it that kind of made you think like, oh, dance could be a career?
Probably lockdown. So I had a few friends from freestyle who like moved over to the UK for college. So I kind of asked them about it, because in school, like they had no clue about it. It's very different in Ireland in terms of like dance and drama as like subjects in college. Like that choice isn't really there.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have teachers that could guide me in that sense. I had to just ask people, and I used to just message people on Instagram and be like, hi, like you're a really good dancer and I want to be a dancer. What do I need to do? And they were saying, well, you've got to go to dance college. And to be fair, some like strangers basically on Instagram helped me like with going about college and like what to do, and saying like, well, no, you can't get a job without going to college because you'll learn what you need to know there. I think it was good that I was confident in a sense of wasn't afraid to ask for help. Like I knew that I knew nothing, but I knew that I wanted to know everything. So I just asked and found the way from there. Yeah, but mainly like through Instagram in lockdown. Yeah.
Where did you find your confidence?
I've always been really outgoing. I come from a really outgoing family. Like my mum and dad were really outgoing. My sisters are really outgoing. So I think the support that they've given me, like they've given me confidence in myself. And then, I think it's more like seeing the end picture. Like I really like see things through. I hate to like give up on things. So even when I started college, I was like, I know I'm the worst in this room. I know I'm the only one who's not done ballet and jazz and commercial. Like I know the least, but I still stood front and centre like in the class. I had like friends who had like danced with artists before, had been in the West End, and I was like standing in front of them in class, like falling out of every single thing I was doing. And I just kept thinking like, imagine this for like the story, like one day like you are going to be, someone's going to put you front and centre. Like I've always just thought, if I don't put myself front and centre, I can't expect someone else to do that, you know, because why would they give it to me if I can't give that to myself? I've never really struggled much with confidence. I suppose there's parts along the way where it's kind of a bit, you feel like you're putting so much in and getting nothing out. But I think that's once again like seeing the bigger picture. But yeah.
And how does it feel kind of coming to England and like having a different training background and like not being the same as everyone else?
I think initially I was just like, oh my God, what have I done for my whole life? Like, why did my man not like keep me in ballet for longer? Why did I not like open my eyes and like figure out these things? everything was so new in college, and I felt like I was the only one experiencing that, because I thought everyone would have just came from like one style. Like I thought someone would be like just a ballet dancer, just a hip hop dancer, but everyone seemed to be so well-rounded in everything, and I felt like I was the only person who came from one style that was the one and only style we don't even do in college. So it definitely kind of, at the start, I was a bit like, oh God, I'm so behind. Like I didn't even know there were BTEC courses. I came in at 18 to like uni degree. And I was thinking, oh my God, some people have already done this for 2 years. Some people have been doing this their whole lives. But now I'm so glad, like obviously I always think you should never regret anything, but I'm so glad like the background I came from, like the roots I came from in dancing, because it gave me confidence. It gave me like no fear. It also like taught me how to kind of like present myself, like because in freestyle competitions, it's very much like fighting for your life. It's not always about technique and the best dancer. It's who catches your eye. It's who's fighting the most. So it gave me such a like fight and drive in college that now, looking back, I was able to just be like molded. Like it was like, I was so lucky with the teachers I've had as well, but all of them have just like molded me like in different ways. So I'm so glad that I went in with kind of nothing set in stone really, that I was just able to be like pulled apart and molded and changed like in the best way possible to then help me. Like now I can kind of make those decisions myself, but for like the whole like first like 2 years of college, like my teachers made those decisions for me, and then now I can kind of go, right, I can take a bit of this, like put them together and discover me as a performer.
And in terms of like catching your eye that you mentioned there, what's your advice to being able to stand out in a room?
I think the more you watch, the more you learn. Like I look in class and I think, right, who am I watching? And I'm like, why am I watching them? Sometimes I'm watching them because they just have stunning technique and they're so high up on their toes, or they've got gorgeous legs. Sometimes I'm watching them because of what they're wearing, or their hair and their tan and their makeup looks nice. And honestly, I think a lot of the time it is presentation, it is performance. And I always think those are things that you can change so quickly. Like that's your choice. Like I'd love to choose to not fall out of me turns, but like it happens all the time. But you know, I can choose to like invest in like a nicer like moisturizer that makes me skin glow, or like find a new lipstick that suits me, or like try a new way of doing my hair. And I think I've only really in the last like years started to like experiment with that. Like when I first came into college, I wore like little Nike Pros, little Nike sports bra every day, just had my hair in a pony. I didn't even know how to slick it. And then I remember looking, thinking, people are dancing with their hair down. Like, how can you dance with your hair down? I've always danced it up. And now I like much rather dance with my hair down. And then kind of slowly started to like try like a pair of joggers. Then I bought like a skirt, and then I was like, okay, maybe this is like my thing. And then I was like, maybe I should wear like actual bras rather than sports bras. Like it makes me look a bit older and less like childish and stuff. So I think the main things that, I mean, obviously I've just graduated a week ago. I'm not like in the industry with a career, but what I enjoy to watch is people who have just like their own thing about them. And I think technique happens over time, but I don't know if it's biased because I don't class myself a technical dancer or come from a technical background, but I do think like performance and like that fight is just so much more important.
I think one really important thing you've said there is making observations about why you like things, and then really taking that in. Because I feel like this is something that I feel like, especially like socials, like a really good example of this, is if you're scrolling, and you stop and look at something, why did you stop and look at that thing? And I feel that kind of little like step back to actually understand why you like things really helps you develop your own taste and develop your own 100%,
style. Yeah. Like sometimes I watch videos and think, wow, I just love the way they like looked to the camera, or like flicked their hair, or just like the character they gave. And then I'd like do like a similar move to that in a dance, and I'm like, right, I'm just trying to be them, like in my head. Or even in class, like my teachers in college, or when I take open classes, I like watch them and I just like try to copy them. Like so much people have asked me like, oh, like how have you improved? Like people coming into college, or like what helped you improve? And I'm just like copying everyone else until you find a way of making that your own and like plucking on those like little things. But I really think I just watch people and just try and copy them, and then you kind of figure out then, right, that's how they do it and I've got that, but now like I'm going to change that and like make it my own kind of.
Yeah, I feel like so you kind of develop your own style, it's all about kind of collecting as much as possible.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like where some people I feel like make a mistake is it's just like they find one reference and just copy.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the best thing to do is find 100 references. So you've got all of that in your head and you're like, I'm going to take a bit of that, bit of that, bit of that and bring that together. And that's where something really unique starts to happen.
Definitely.
So moving on to the first look from today.
Yeah.
What was that? What made you bring that?
So the first look today was the little white dress, the rollers in, the ballet flats. So the vibe for this one was to kind of have a bit of like a musical theatre, kind of like classy, a bit like old schoolish vibe. I'm quite like, my main confidence is like being like sexy, being full out, being performant. Like I struggle with confidence in something a bit more like laid back and like classy. Like my version of classy the last time was a blazer with my boobs out. So it was fun to kind of actually really go for that like classy musical theatre sense. That was kind of the intention with it.
This is almost like stepping outside of your comfort zone.
100%, yeah.
So how in your career have you kind of like stepped out of your comfort zone?
I think changing what I was wearing was definitely a big one. The biggest one for me was putting on trousers, dancing. Like I'd only ever come from wearing like tight shorts and all tight clothes. We weren't allowed to wear like baggy tops or anything in dancing for like safety reasons and also like to see your lines and stuff. So I remember everyone kept saying, how are you doing commercial like in shorts? How are you doing hip hop in shorts? And I was kind of thinking, well, it doesn't suit me, like, and I was so against it. And then it was actually Josh Pilmore that said to me, it was the start of my second year, and he came over to me after class and he was like, you've got something, but I think you need to put a pair of trousers on. And he was like, I think it's just going to help you find your groove. Like keep the bra, but like maybe find trousers. And I like rang my Matt and I was like, Matt, like Josh is back in next week. I need a pair of trousers. And I like went home that weekend and got a pair from home because I was like, right, if I'm going to have to wear some, at least I know these ones like won't be the worst on me, you know? So that kind of was the start for me of like changing it up a bit. And then I was kind of watching a lot of commercial dancers on Instagram, and then it was kind of a few months later where I started like going to London for classes and thinking, okay, like I can tie something around my waist, I can like flick my hair over, I can like put a bit of eyeliner on, you know? It's like all the little things you watch people do. Sometimes I even watch my own friends and I think, wow, like that lipstick looks so nice, like I need to put a darker colour on, you know? It's those like little things. But putting a pair of trousers on to dance was like the first like big move for me. Yeah.
And like coming to London for the first time to come to class, what did that feel like?
So I was a bit nervous, I guess, going in, because you think like these are professional dancers in here. I'm just like in college, and as much as like I'm so confident on the inside, I'm like, you're still just a freestyle dancer, like you're still learning, you don't know anything, you know? And you go into class and it's just the opposite atmosphere. Like everyone in there is like, it is really true when you say like they're paying to be there. Like you can tell that they've like graduated and stuff. They like appreciate a class environment so much. And I always like think now, like when I'm in a class, a lot of the time I don't watch people until the end because I'm watching myself trying to get it. And I'm like, people aren't even watching me. So I always think no one is watching me. I'm the only person watching me. So like make it enjoyable for yourself, do you know, like don't torture yourself. So I think it was so different to what I was expecting. I was expecting people to kind of be like, oh, like who's this coming in?
Yeah.
And it's the opposite. Everyone like is so supportive in there. Everyone is like there for themselves. And when I see people wearing like little shorts or like a different color heel, I'm like, wow, like they're so confident. And then I'm like, people think that when they see me in the class, and you don't feel that yourself. You only look to other people and think that, you know?
So moving on to the second look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
So the second look today was kind of split into like two different vibes. So I love like pop stars and kind of quite like sexy, a little bit like cheeky, like so the look was black low-waisted flare jeans and no top, which I just thought was fun and kind of gave like music video, like the cover of an album. Like I think it can be done in a way that it can be classy and sexy and like more cheeky, rather than like, oh, that's a bit like raunchy or kind of out there, you know? And I think a lot of people don't see the difference in that, even with like dressing for class like that. Yeah, you can wear a bra and like be confident, rather than like, oh, everyone knows like I'm just in a bra. So it was quite fun to go for that. And even with that, like it was something different for me, for my confidence as well, you know? Like it took me a while to kind of get into it, find the flow of like how to pose and like just get comfortable with it. So yeah, it's a bit of like a wilder look, and then we kind of switched it up with like boots and a tank top, leather gloves. I proper like pinned my hair a bit back for that, and there's a bit more of like a masculine look to it nearly, so it's kind of the two different vibes that I love. That's like, you can be both if you want, you know. You can be masculine with a red lip, like you can be classy with your boobs out. Like you can do it all, you know. So it was fun to kind of keep the same basis of the look but switch it up like in between. Like I never really did that the last time, so it was fun to do that this time. Yeah,
so that, obviously we've shot twice now. Like, what do you think the difference was between the first time and the second time?
I think the first time I wore stuff that I was just like totally comfortable in. Like that was just me. I feel like if I asked all my friends, what do you think I'm gonna wear, they would have guessed it. You know, it was so like, which isn't a bad thing to be predictable, but it was predictable, which probably is always for the first time. Then this time around, I was kind of like, right, time to like switch it up, like get more of like a musical theatre one, more of like a bit of like a hip hop one, more of like a kind of pop style, like artist ones, you know? So definitely I went a lot more comfortable the last time. Not that I wore stuff like that are totally out of this world or anything, but just for me, my personality, my kind of like character as a performer, like I kind of switched it up a bit, like went to what I wasn't as comfortable in this time. Kind of like be versatile, like that's the end goal.
And what would your advice be to someone like looking to get a portfolio and kind of like start if they don't really have a clue which way to go?
Yeah, well, not to be biased, but I had a meeting with an agent yesterday who had reached out to me after my grad show, and I asked her, I said, why did you want to meet me? Like I know that I've got so much to work on, you know, like I was kind of like, wow, someone wants to like consider me to like go and get me jobs. Like this is quite real. And she was like, I watched your dance reel. And obviously we'd done the dance reel back the start of the year. And she was like, I watched your dance reel and it was so good. And I loved your pictures. Like, so I just wanted to meet you based off that alone. So I say to all my friends, come to Adam for your pictures. And definitely dance reel as well, now that I've done that too. I think you need to know what you're looking for. Like I like to ask a lot of questions and clearly answer a lot of questions. So I was kind of going to my teachers and saying like, right, like I want to do this properly. Like I've saved me money. I've got a little pocket for like my portfolio fund. Like I want to do this properly. Like where do you think I should go? What do you think of this based on what I want to do? And obviously I had showed them you. I mean, they know of you. And they were like 100% like that's where you need to go. So I think it's more kind of knowing how much you want to put in and what you want to invest. Like I want to do everything. Like I want to be a backing dancer. I want to be in the West End. I want to be on cruise ships. Like I want to do it all. So I want to invest so heavily, like, because I want to get that, you know? So I think it's more kind of what you're willing to sacrifice in terms of like how much you're going to pay, like your outfits, like how much you're going to put into it yourself. I think it's knowing what you want to get out of it and then doing your research. Like whose pictures do you like? Who do you like in class? Who do you watch that's constantly getting booked? Like what they're doing, you know? It's a lot of like observation, but then also making that decision yourself too. Like that's great for them, but it mightn't be right for you. And
for someone who wants to do lots of things, how did you decide? Okay, because then our first shoot we did 4 looks, as well and today. How did you pick? Okay, well these are all the different things I want to do. How can I make sure those are represented in my portfolio?
So I think one I definitely wanted to do was a body shot. So that was the bikini look the last time. I definitely wanted to get like a full body shot because obviously what you naturally hear is like headshot, body shot. So in my head I was like, definitely need a body shot. Then I kind of just wanted to like play around a bit. Like I wanted like a dancer like Laduca one. I wanted one that was a bit more like classy. I can't remember what the last one was. Oh, then it was a dress. Like just a bit of like a fun one. Like honestly, thinking of it this time round, I put so much more thought in this time round, which is kind of just you learn as you go, you know? Like there was intention around like just the look itself, but not exactly like a job or a career, you know? It was more like comfortable and just like my like different versions of my personality, I guess. Whereas this time around, it's a lot more like focused on kind of how that picture would book that job or how that would be like the cover of that program for that job or that album cover, you know?
So kind of your decision to kind of come to college in England, what kind of made that happen? And when you first got there, what was your experience like over that first year? So
to come to college in England, there's not really many dance colleges at home, and a lot of them are like musical theatre and stuff, but quite like not really modernized. Like they're very like IDTA, jazz, like ballet, tap, like that's like the sole focus. There's not really that like jazz fusion and like commercial and heels. Like it's very behind in that sense. And I'd watched people coming over here. I'd watched people on Instagram. Like sometimes I go back now through my saved and think like, oh my God, I've done their class now. And like I saved that video 4 years ago before I even knew like what an open class was or what college was, do you know? So definitely I was wanting to come over 1,000,000% because that opportunity just isn't at home. And then when I first came over, I was like expecting to come into like fame. I was like expecting to be like stood there and told like, you need to lose weight, you need to do this, you need to do that. So I was shocked with how chill it was in that sense, that like you are here to find yourself and everyone's going to be different. I thought it was going to be very much like everyone wear their hair like this, everyone has to wear this. I was surprised with, whoa, like we kind of have to like create our own character nearly, which is why I think I held back for a while. I'm like, I didn't know how to like dress myself or change that, so I just went with what I knew. Yeah, like looking back, I was just so naive going into college. I was so excited, and even leaving last week, like I was as excited going in every day as I was the first day. I was at the start a little bit like disappointed with like the lack of passion some people had, but then it took me a while to discover that, because there's like the BTEC option, which is great for people like who want to dance and can go into that. Some people kind of choose that because it's a better alternative to school, and it's like that's all it is to them. It's just a better alternative, not that they want it as their career. Whereas I thought I'd be coming in and everyone would like want to compete against each other, and it literally be like fame, like running to be the first to get to class. So it took me a while to kind of adjust into that, and then realize that I can still be that, you know, I can still pretend I'm in a movie and run to class, and like you don't have to lose your own passion based on other people's. And then obviously the more you like meet people, you realize that some people are so passionate and they just show it a different sense. Like I'm so confident. I've come from a confident family and confident friends. That's always what I've stuck around. Then I was like, whoa, some people are so confident and they just like have a different way of showing it. You know, they like become someone else when they dance, or they are shyer and it takes them longer. So I think initially I was like, oh my God, like does no one want to be a dancer? And then I was like, everyone's just on different paths and different journeys. And also some people had done like their BTEC and stuff, or had done that sort of training their whole life. So it was repetitive to them and they were bored of it, whereas everything to me was new. So going into like a jazz tech class where everyone's thinking like, oh God, we're going from the corner again. I was thinking, wow, like we're going from the corner. That's new to me, do you know? So it took me a while to kind of like appreciate that I have come from a totally different background. I was the only person from Ireland as well. Not that it's that far away, but just that the dance world is quite different. And then coming from freestyle, which is just its own whole like separate world as well. It took me a while to kind of figure out like you still can be the way you are, like in your own lane, you know, like you're not to get distracted by what other people are doing or what they're not doing, you know.
And was there people in first year who kind of were really unconfident to start with, who you saw that grow over time? Yeah,
100%. Like so many people, yeah.
And what was it that kind of helped them change?
I think it is the support you get in college. You know, it is the training. Like the better you look, the better you feel, the better you look. The better you look, the better you feel. I don't know which way around it is, but like works both ways, you know, like if you're improving, you're going to be more confident because, you know, you're not shying away from the challenge nearly. You kind of know that you're able for it. So I think definitely just training as a whole, like brings confidence out in people. And then I think meeting new people, coming like comfortable with them, and like the support then, like when you kind of know your friends, you almost cheer louder for your friends because you know it's going to hype them up. So I think once everyone starts to like settle into like the groove of being with each other, and like the training starts to like impact like physically on you dancing, I think that naturally brings like confidence out anyways.
Moving on to the third look from today. What was that and what made you bring that?
So the third look today was a bit of like an 80s dancer look / a bit of a modern twist on it. I really wanted to do a bit of like a white, grey, like dusty baby pink look, purely because of Adele's music video where she's got like the nude knee pads on, and it's like she's got like dusty pink hair and everything. It took me a while to kind of figure out what to actually do to make that look, because she's got the pink hair that just sells it, whereas I was like, I'm not really cool enough for like something like that, but maybe I can like find my little thing, which was like my like sparkly bazookas. I was like, maybe they could be a part of this. And then like I had leg warmers, and it just like slowly came together. And then my friend Harrison, shout out to Harrison, who styled all the outfits. I'm kind of like taking credit, like I came up with this. It was definitely like a 70-30 decision, me being 30, him being 70. So my friend Harrison had the idea of adding like the headphones, which just gave it the little like 80s like fun feel to it, you know, so it kind of gave something more to like play with and everything in the look, but still kind of like a progression of a bit of a dancer look the last time. This time was more of like an 80s dancer look. The last time was more of just like a general aesthetic of dancer look.
And so kind of going into kind of like second and third year, how do you feel like you really developed over your time at Jelly?
I think the opportunities I was given like definitely helped me develop, because a lot of the time in dance and in like dance college and performing and everything, you learn on the job, you learn in the process. Like you don't get sat down and told like, right, when this happens, this is what you do. Then you get ready for this. You're just kind of in the moment and you learn as you go, do you know? And there's so many like little things, like learning how to do like hair and makeup and like sewing. And it's like the panic of, oh my God, I need to have a costume with elastic sewn, or I need to like have a costume for an audition and style my hair like to suit that era. Like it's so much learning as you're going. So I think the more you're exposed to, the more you can learn. So naturally, like progressing from first year to second year and second year to third year, like I was becoming a better dancer. So there were more dance opportunities for me, but then kind of learning to like work quickly and like be adaptable, like keeps you in the room, you know, and like gives you more. It's like being a dancer is one thing, but then being able to like be like a smart dancer is like another thing, I think. So I think definitely being exposed to more, like you're just forced to keep up. If you don't keep up, you fall behind, you know? So it's kind of just like a constant learning that I think that's what helps you progress through. But definitely like being exposed to more and being given more opportunities, like you're just constantly like climbing and like upping yourself and like overcoming the last, moving on to the next.
What makes a good learner?
Well, I like to think that I'm a good learner. I think enthusiasm is one of like the main things, because I think you can be a great listener and you can listen to everything, but if you're not kind of being enthusiastic about applying that, like what's the good of knowing it if you can't like do anything with that, you know? So I think as well, like showing that you're like listening, showing that you're learning, you know, like that progression, like it's great to know it. And I feel like it's so easy to know like, oh yeah, I've listened to that, I've taken that in, but like no one else knows you've taken that in if you're not showing that and you're not like stepping up the next thing. So I think for me, like reflecting personally on like how I've progressed learning, and then kind of being able to observe like people who've come into college and like watch them kind of like transition, like becoming like better performers and stuff, being a good learner. I think it is like about how enthusiastic you are, do you know? Like I think it always just comes down to how much do you want it, because at the end of the day you can improve everything by yourself, do you know? It's down to your mindset and like what you're willing to put in, like your graft, do you know? So I think definitely like enthusiasm, like yeah, I think it's cool to try hard. I think that is 2025, it's cool to try hard.
I feel like what you mentioned something there about like the idea of showing. I think that's such an important part when it comes to learning, because I feel like it's very easy to like sit and listen to a podcast for an hour, or go and watch some video that's kind of like teaching you something, or go to a class, but then never actually put that into like application. And like I feel like we have this mentality of like, especially things like podcasts, where you feel like you're learning and you almost like trick yourself into like, oh, I'm improving because I'm listening to something. But it's the actual doing of something that makes all the difference. Yeah,
like I think it's so easy to be comfortable. Like that's what you naturally do, you know? You stick with what you know, you do what you know best, like of course. But like that, like just listening to things, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's in here, but it's so important to show that, because no one else is inside your head. No one knows what you're thinking or what you've learned, you know, like unless you like do go apply that and kind of hear someone say, well, I do this, and then you go think like, right, well, I'm going to do that and do that. It's like, you know, what's the point of it if you're not going to showcase that? What's the point of just knowing and like keeping it to yourself nearly? Because at the end of the day, like we are performers, like what we do is share our craft, share our passion. Like the whole thing is based on presentation and performance. So what good is it knowing it and keeping it internally? Like of course you have to have like integrity and stuff in it and like the authenticity in it, but at the end of the day, it's how you can perform that and show that to everyone. Like basically everything is a performance. Like
I think that's the thing. It's like, if you call yourself a performer, do you perform?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people might just kind of sit back and just wait for opportunities to happen. Whereas like, if you just go out there and do it and actually create the performance yourself.
Like I always just think the worst thing that can happen when you ask something is that you get told no. Like shy kids get no sweets. Like that's always what I always like believed, you know, like I always think, right, at this moment in time, I don't have this. So if I ask or I try and I don't get it or I get told no, well, I've not lost that. And like, it's only ever an opportunity to gain. It's never an opportunity to lose. And I think sometimes doors are open for you, but then sometimes you've got to open the door for yourself. So like this year in college, I was like, I want to be dance captain. I need to make sure I'm dance captain. So I said, I would love to be dance captain. Like, I'll tell you why I want to. And then I was given that opportunity, and that led to like so much more than like progressing through the year. But you do have to kind of like just back yourself really and like go for it, you know.
Brilliant. So going on to the fourth and final look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
So the fourth and final look was little denim shorts, a little bra, I was about to say cropped blazer. It was an oversized bomber jacket and a cap. So this was, I wouldn't say a mad different look for me, because I definitely wear little shorts and bras like all the time. Oversized jackets, not really so much. A cap, I've not really like thrown a cap out for a few years. So it was a bit kind of like, I was saying like a Tate McRae, like hip hop kind of aesthetic. Like that's, a lot of the stuff I wanted to do this time was kind of put out like what I want to do now, like after graduating. So obviously I've had the best time at college, but now it's kind of like, what do I want to like go into now, and what have I like not put enough time in that I want to, like musical theatre is one of them for me, like more hip hop side is another thing for me. So kind of putting that into the looks is nearly like manifesting like it all happening. So yeah, this look was actually really fun because it kind of had a mixture of like what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not comfortable with. So being able to like bounce between the two, like, yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, I feel like this look really showcased. I like, as soon as you put that on, I was like, I can picture you in this role.
Yeah.
Like it was like this fits that aesthetic so well. I feel like Harrison did a fantastic job of
he
styling
did.
that.
He did great with them all, but he definitely like
because I feel like
that one off.
It looks like
the shoes. Oh. Harrison's like putting behind the camera the shoes. So these shoes, I want to trademark from Bershka. I'm calling them runner heels because I don't say trainers, I say runners. And I just think these are the coolest things ever. Like they give that runner, like sporty vibe, but they've got a heel. Like I can wear these to a heels class and be cool.
Like, literally, it was such a good look. I feel like, yeah, as soon as you put this on, I was like, it's not like you were playing like dress up. It was like this is how I can picture you like in playground. Like it just had that vibe of like, I can picture you on stage with that artist. Yeah. And it was just like seamless. Like it just works so well. And I feel like that's something really important to think about when people put their portfolio together, is to make sure that people can see it. Because it's like, if I didn't know you and I was casting for a show like that, I'd be like, I don't even have to change her. She just fits it straight away.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just genuinely there. Like it's already like created. Like, yeah, hopefully everyone just looks and says, oh, I'll have her. Like she's already in the outfit. We'll have her in the outfit.
And I feel like often like people don't have an imagination. So when it comes to, they just want to see the thing that's already in their head.
Yeah, like they want to see it set, which is another thing that I feel like I've learned through college as well. Like that you're not going to get sat down and get told everything. You've got to be able to make decisions, and you've got to also be able to like cope with it being the wrong decision. Like you just have to be confident and go in. And I think a lot of the time it's not about what the decision actually is, it's about how confident you are behind the decision. Like sometimes even when I was like doing rehearsals as dance captain and I was thinking like, this is new to me, like I don't know the time and I don't know the lyrics, the count. I used to get every single lyric wrong. But if I said it with confidence, everyone believed it.
100%.
And one time I kept saying the wrong thing again and again with confidence. And someone said like, is that on that count or is that lyric? And I was like, I don't know. And it was actually wrong, but everyone had like believed me that it was right, you know? So obviously it's not great to like go out and constantly be wrong, but you have to be wrong to go right, you know? And you have to be confident in going wrong. Like
I think there's like an idea of momentum of like, you can either sit still and just stew over which way to go.
Yeah.
Or you can just head in a direction.
Exactly.
Even if that's the wrong way, I feel like if you kind of think of like a yes and no, if you're heading in the wrong direction, when you actually realise not, you're coming back at a faster time. Whereas like someone else who's just sat there deciding for ages might head the right way, but it'd be so slowly that they just don't ever kind of get to where they want to get to.
Yeah. It's like I love quotes. I literally sit all day looking at like quotes on Instagram, and you always see ones of them like climbing the ladder, and it's like, imagine you knew like you were only 10 steps away from achieving that, like, but if you stopped after 5 because you think, God, I've tried so much, but it's like, imagine you knew it was only going to be 5 more and you were there. Like, so I'm very much a thinker in that way, like, well this time could be the one, like, and kind of constantly always like think that. And like a lot of the time it's not, a lot of the time it's like wrong. Like I've been really lucky that like my teachers have like said to me like, this doesn't work, this is wrong, but try this, or just try again, do you know? Because sometimes you do have to try yourself rather than being told, oh, that was wrong, here's the right answer. Do you know, you do have to learn yourself, because now coming out of college, like I'm on my own, do you know, like I have to make those decisions myself. You can't rely on people. So I think you just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, being comfortable with going wrong, like, and failing. Like failing is like part of the process. Like I feel like you just have to enjoy the failure. Like I'm excited to like get into an audition and then not get it. Like obviously I'm excited to get it, but just that's just part of the whole industry, and part of it all is like getting told no, like it's not good enough, you need to up your game. So I think you just kind of have to like be prepared for that. Like, well, I mean, that's what I'm going with, so hopefully it works.
In terms of being prepared as well, so you've literally graduated a week ago now.
Yeah.
How are you preparing for entering the industry?
So I've had 2 meetings with agents in the last week, which I'm extremely lucky to have had that, like a week coming out of college, and then doing this today, like a week coming out, like a new photo shoot. It's kind of like getting ready for that like new era, you know, like I'm speaking to new people who are like going to be like the next chapter of my life. Like they're who are putting me in the room for auditions. These pictures are what are putting me in the room for auditions. So I think it's kind of like prepping like that life, you know, like I'm like now moving over here like properly without being in college. So it's kind of like figuring out what's around you and like discovering your like new routine, like looking for a gym, looking for classes. Like I'm part of the Circle platform on Dancers Inc. at the moment, and they have like tutorials on there. So I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to be in as much classes as I previously was in college, as much as I'd love to be. Like, so I'm like, okay, like I can do tutorials. I'm like trying to picture things that I've not done as much of that I want to do more of. Like I want to do like singing lessons and acting lessons, and kind of find all these like little things that I feel like I'm missing at the moment. And I think it's about just, it's like planning a new life. Like it is totally different, especially going from school straight into college. I went straight from like a busy schedule, fitting everything in, like doing school and dancing and comp and works and learning to drive. And then coming to college, I was like, wow, it's going to relax now. Like I'm here. And then it was like, no, the opposite. It's like 10 times more crazier. It was like one sole thing of just like dancing, but just, even though that was only like a chapter of like the previous like part of my life, now it was like the only chapter, but it was like a million times bigger. So I think it's kind of adjusting to like that new sort of routine and timetable, and also like being content with it. Like you've got to find what works for you. Like structure works for me, getting up in the morning, like having a good day, like that's what works for me. So I need to just create that, like in a different sense, but in a same sense as well.
Yeah, because I suppose previously someone else has been dictating your structure, and now you're in control of that.
Yeah, and I'm quite good at like doing what I'm told, you know, like I kind of struggle a bit to make like decisions for myself, like choosing between 2 things, even like picking outfits for a photo shoot, you know, like I like being told like do this, and I'm like, okay, and I can like take correction and take notes. Whereas like creative decisions, I'm like, I'm gone, you know, like I like being told fix this and this is to this count, but then when I'm told like improv for a count of 8, or like bring your own character, I'm like, who's my character, do you know? So it's definitely hard for me going from like being told what to do to now like not only just make your own decisions, but like the whole thing is your decision. Like, yeah.
And where would you like to be in a year's time?
In a year's time, I'd like to be performing. I've got different like performing routes that I want to go down. So I don't know the order that I want to do that in, and I don't know. I believe that like everything works its way, like the way it's meant to, you know, like you are in your journey and it's going to happen how it's meant to. At the same time, you've got to like push for it, like, but I'd love to be either on a tour with a musical, in the West End, doing like music videos and like award shows and touring with artists, being on a cruise ship, or if I'm not performing and I'm still training and auditioning, like I just want to be better than I am now, do you know? And like know where I'm heading, have a better idea. Like I'll even look at like just a year ago and think, wow, I knew nothing compared to now. Like in a year's time, I'm going to look and be like, wow, she is just waffling. Like you had no clue what you're talking about or what you're doing. So I just want to be better. Yeah. Like I'm not going to be there in a year because I've got that many goals that it's like a lifetime worth of a career. So it's not going to be my whole dream career in 1 year's time, but like the whole journey is the dream. Yeah. So just still being in this, hopefully.
Thank you so much for this. This has been really fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved it.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please share it. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, just drop them in the comments below. See you in the next session.